Thanks for joining me for this edition of the Author's Corner, brought to you by KNEO 91.7 FM. I'm Roberta Foster. Today I welcome LaFon Jantz, and she is the wife of Gregory Jantz, who actually wrote the book, but she's standing in for him because he's now enjoying his home in heaven. And so the book title is Make Peace with Your Past, Living a Life with No Regrets. And it's published by Aspire Press. And LaFon will tell you more about how you can get your own copy towards the end of the program. Let me tell you just a little bit about LaFon. She is the co-founder of The Center, a place of hope, along with her husband. LaFon is involved with several philanthropic organizations and has worked as the Region 3 Field Encourager for King County with Moms in Prayer International, a group that brings mothers together to pray for the safety, health, and well-being of their children. And so, LaFon, thank you so much for being with us today.
So glad to be with you, Roberta. Thanks for having me.
So, the book was obviously written, or penned anyway, before your husband passed. What would you say is your participation in this book now?
You know, it's my privilege and honor to be able to talk about his, not only his book, but about his life mission and vision, which still continues to this day through the treatment center that he and I founded together over 40 years ago called The Center, a Place of Hope. And, you know, this is a place that has informed us over very many years of what core needs are for what the majority of our population seems to be struggling with. And we see it firsthand because they're coming to us for help. And so this book is written with all that wisdom packed into it, with the intention to help walk you through how to make peace with your past at the core of so many issues requiring help and treatment today is having so many regrets or hurts or harms from the past that are unresolved. So that's where he has been motivated to write not only this book, but every one of his books, over 45 books over time. And he just really lived a life motivated and driven to help people find freedom and freedom from anything that's holding them back. So this book, I think, just really is consummate in terms of pulling all that together and making it not an easy walk, but a simple walk. He had a way of simplifying hard things, and this is one of those books.
Well, I can imagine that you're still going through some very strong emotions and still dealing with your husband's passing. But so you've actually got a lot of practical experience in this very book, Making Peace with Your Past. The first chapter is titled Moving from Hurting to Healing. So how has that information and instruction been so helpful and beneficial to you?
Well, you know, we believe in getting help, especially if there's been a trauma or something, life-altering that you may or may not have all the tools or all the ability to navigate on your own, or you could do it on your own, but it might take more time. So one of the things that we've done as a family is that my sons and I and daughter-in-law have turned towards each other in supporting each other. We made an agreement that we would do everything together in this first year in terms of just walking through every decision and every issue that comes up. We've just really made a commitment to working through it together. And one of those commitments is that we decided to get family, counseling for grief and trauma. My husband was taken in a tragic accident suddenly, and we all got thrown into a sudden loss that has changed our lives significantly and tragically. And we have seen God show up in so many amazing ways and strengthened our relationships with each other and just really given us the comfort and peace to walk through this with God's help. And, of course, we were careful to be selective who we've chosen to help us through that. Mm-hmm. And it's been a wonderful, wonderful journey of healing.
Wonderful. And so, as you said, that was the first step you took. Some people need a stronger nudge, perhaps. So what would you say to individuals on how what they need to do to get started on the journey toward healing?
Yes, of course, it's very difficult mostly to look at, traumas, especially past traumas or things that happened to you or that you did that you absolutely regret or wished had never happened. But the reality is that it did happen. Either it happened to you or you did it. And so the problem is that when you keep shoving it aside, memories don't go away. They will be there. It's what we do with them and how they affect us and impact our life today. So, for example, someone may be very angry about some past injustice, and that anger is just always seething below the surface. And so one wrong thing from someone who has no clue was not associated with that thing. If they say something the wrong way, the wrong tone, or trigger it, that anger can just totally be, erupting and surprising to everyone. And so those are some things that, it's hazardous to our health to live in the past and allow the past to keep us stuck and continue to affect our present moments. And so it's really important to be willing to look at that because it not only makes us sick emotionally and mentally, but also physically and spiritually.
Yeah. So today I have the pleasure of talking with LaFon Jantz regarding the book Make Peace with Your Past, which is published by Aspire Press. And you're listening to Author's Corner, and I'm Roberta Foster. One of the emotions that is so oftentimes a hindrance in making peace with our past is actually forgiveness.
Yes, and you called it an emotion. Actually, forgiveness is a decision. And that's, my husband was really clear on helping folks understand that this is a choice. You can make a decision to forgive. Choose forgiveness over bondage to anger or any bitterness, fantasies of getting revenge. You're punishing them by not forgiving them. Really, you're punishing yourself. Forgiveness is not a sign of weakness. A greater sign of weakness is allowing hurtful actions of others to determine your future health and well-being.
Okay.
So he recommends, and he talks about in his book, Make Peace with Your Past, create a contract with yourself. Write it in your journal. And put your name in it. Pledge to forgive so-and-so for what they did for the following reasons. Be specific. And it's a choice. It's a decision. It is not a feeling. Feelings will come. You're going to wonder why you decided to forgive. But when we have those feelings, you have to go back to, nope, I've decided. I know why I must do this. It's for my own good, my own health, and we learn to walk it out. It's something we're able to learn how to do. And if you want to be free, if you want to get free from that stuckness, that thing that's holding you back, then this is one of those challenges that you must overcome. And 42 years of helping folks heal from all kinds of emotional woundedness. And this is what my husband has come to really wanting to push out for people to know and understand.
The title of Making Peace or Make Peace with Your Past, that can take us back a long ways sometimes when we actually think we may have dealt with an issue, but it comes back up again sometimes, doesn't it?
It does. It does. Even childhood memories, early childhood memories can, sometimes creep in and dictate how you feel about a parent or a grandparent or a sibling. And, those are things that can affect your relationships in the here and now. So, why not? If it keeps coming up, then that's an indicator that it needs to be dealt with and resolved.
And then one of the points that is made in the book is that it's impossible to speed up healing from past wounds.
Yeah.
And is there a danger in trying to force our healing, or what does it mean to force our healing?
Yes, you don't want to force it. You don't want to rush through it. You don't want to skip the steps of walking out true forgiveness, true acknowledgement, acknowledgement of what happened or what you did, and reframing it. It really requires methodically going through step by step that process of acknowledging what happened, being honest about it with yourself and with God and with perhaps one or two other people who are very trustworthy, if it's appropriate, and walking out that process. If you try to rush it, then that's not real recovery. You're probably minimizing it or sort of brushing things under the rug and not really acknowledging how significant of the issue it is. And there's ways to do that so that we're shedding the shame. We're not shaming ourselves or others, but we are, we are acknowledging that there's guilt, that there is some offense that has occurred, and speaking the truth about that. You also don't want to rush through it because you could become callous to other people hurting and going through their own journey of healing and walking through recovery. And so we don't want to rush ourselves. We want to be gentle with ourselves so that we can also then be gentle with others who might be going through similar journeys or perhaps even worse than what we're dealing with. But for some, you can't imagine that it could be any worse. So we understand that's a possibility too. But the truth is the same for everyone. We're all human, and time does not really heal. People say time heals, but not when we are pushing things down and hiding it from ourselves and others.
Okay. All right. So your book ends by saying you can't live in the past and you can't rewrite events from your history. So how do we move on in spite of the pain from the past?
I love this question, and this is truly the key, I think, to when you get this book. It's a fast read, but then I would recommend going through it a second time and really methodically doing the work of this little book, because he talks about revising your past narrative. So it's what you're telling yourself about it. It's what you experience every time you remember, those memories come back. It's what you are interpreting and deciding to believe about those things and about yourself as it relates to those things that occurred. So he writes, I'm just going to read this real quick because it's in his words, and he's such a beautiful author, and he writes how he speaks. So when I read his books, I can hear his voice, and it's just so wonderful. He says, maintaining a healthy perspective can empower you to revise experiences so they are less painful and more instructive, and so they honor the person you were and are. So much of the past, we interpret in such a negative, shameful way that it becomes dishonoring and destructive. And he was such a gifted counselor and writer. What made him so successful that folks would seek him out from all around the country and internationally is that he really was able to help facilitate a safe environment for these things, these toxic emotions and events, and memories to come out in a place where it's safe and confidential, not going to go any farther, but then helping each individual to walk through those experiences in a new way so that they could learn from it and not allow those things to hold them back and to continue to be dragged along through each and every day. His drive was to help everyone have hope for each day and to know that each day is truly a gift, a divine gift from God. And God wants us to be joyful and rejoice in each new day that he's made, not regret or be burdened, unduly burdened by the past.
Yeah. I've had the pleasure today of talking with LaFon Jantz about the book Make Peace with Your Past, written by her late husband, Gregory Jantz, along with Keith Wall. And the subtitle is also so important to recognize, Living a Life with No Regrets. So, LaFon, how can people find out more about this book and the others that your husband had written?
Absolutely. Of course, Amazon, is a great place to look under Dr. Gregory Jantz, or another great place is our website, aplaceofhope.com. You have to put the A in there, aplaceofhope.com. If you scroll to the bottom of our site, you'll find under Mental Health Resources a tab that says Books, and you can order books there. Also, lots of resources, free blogs, free tests. We have 21 tests that you can take that kind of give you some feedback of where you might be on a scale of those issues. We also offer same-day admissions. All of our intake calls are free, and there's no obligation. It's a chance to talk live to one of our experienced team members. And we also have a one-of-a-kind weekly mental health tips newsletter that you can subscribe to. Plus YouTube and, the Center, A Place of Hope. You can find my husband's Hope and Possibility podcast, testimonials, real-life stories, and their testimonies of having gone through just what we've been talking about today, just very bravely walking through that recovery process. It's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy, but it is possible. It is possible to have victory. And that's what we are all about. That's what my husband's mission was all about, is having victory over all that's holding you back. We want you to be free, to be who God's, destined and planned for you to be. And our verse is Jeremiah 29:11, where we truly believe that there is a future and a hope, and that's God's plan for us, not to harm us, but to help us, to give us hope in a future.
Amen. So one more time, the book today is Make Peace with Your Past, Living a Life with No Regrets, authored by Gregory Jantz and published by Aspire Press. We appreciate them sending us a copy of the book. LaFon, it's been so wonderful talking with you today. I sure appreciate your time.
Thank you, Roberta.
And to our listeners, if you'd like to hear this interview again or possibly share it with somebody else, you can find it on your favorite podcast platform or through kneo.org. So thank you so much for tuning in. This is Roberta Foster on the Author's Corner. Join me again next time.